Did Jesus break the Sabbath or human traditions? In Luke chapter 6, verse 9, Jesus asked the scribes and Pharisees if the law of Moses permitted you to do good or to do evil, to save life or to destroy it. And Mark 3 adds that the people remained silent when Jesus asked this question. Now, the people in question are the teachers of the law, the Pharisees, and they could not answer Jesus' question. Yet, ever since Jesus asked this question to his fellow Jews, most of Christianity has answered the question that they could not answer by teaching that the law of Moses did permit good works like healing on the Sabbath. Hence, most Christians are taught that Jesus never really broke the Sabbath, but only the so-called human traditions of the Pharisees or any additions by later Jewish scribes and Pharisees. Here's an example of what I mean. The NASB MacArthur Study Bible on Luke 6:9, good works were especially appropriate on the Sabbath, particularly deeds of charity, mercy, and worship. Works necessary for the preservation of life were also permitted. Also, the Ryrie Study Bible, not to heal on the Sabbath would have been to do evil and to destroy life. To heal and therefore to do a good work would be no violation of Sabbath laws. These commentaries, these study Bibles, offer not one Old Testament reference as evidence for these claims. So I think to properly answer Jesus' question back in Luke 6, we need to look back even further to the Old Covenant and the Sabbath law and what God had originally required from his people, the Israelites. So we have this in Exodus 16, and this was given before Sinai, where the Ten Commandments were given. God says to the people, tomorrow is a Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake today. Exodus 20, which is now at Sinai, where the giving of the Ten Commandments happened. You must not do any work, you, your son, daughter, male, female slave, livestock, or the foreigner, so the non-Israelite, the so-called Gentile, who is within your gates. And this is repeated across the books there of Moses in Leviticus 23 and Deuteronomy 5, which actually, I think, verbatim repeats the so-called 10 words or the 10 commandments. And still later prophets, like Jeremiah and Nehemiah there, they added this: you must not carry a load out of your houses on the Sabbath day or do any work. The rabbis confirmed this understanding of resting on the Sabbath without qualification by saying that carrying anything from one place to another is the last of what they call the 39 works forbidden under their rabbinical teachings called the Mishnah. So carrying things like empty beds is implicitly forbidden in the later rabbinical commentaries and understanding of the Old Covenant laws given here. Furthermore, the importance of keeping Sabbath was part of the identity marker of the covenant people of God, whether, as we just read, you were an Israelite, a Jew, or a Gentile. Here's a quote from the late James Dunn, Dr. Dunn, in his book Theology of Paul. Observance of the Sabbath became a touchstone of covenant identity and loyalty, Exodus 31. Since the Sabbath was a sign of Israel's set apartness, failure to keep the Sabbath law was a capital offense. So, for example, in Isaiah 56, the mark of Gentile participation in the covenant would be that of keeping the Sabbath. The result, then, of breaking the Sabbath can be seen by the punishment that was meted out to a man who was picking up sticks in Numbers 15. So they took the man to Moses. And the Lord said to Moses, the man must be surely put to death. The whole congregation is to stone him outside the camp. So the whole congregation took the man outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord had commanded Moses. The evidence shows, to me anyway, that there is not one Old Testament reference Christians can point to today where God authorized breaking the Sabbath for any reason, even, quote, good humanitarian works like healing the sick. Instead, there is one clear and very scary evidence for what happened if any work was done on the Sabbath. But only Jesus, as the promised Jewish Messiah, the second Moses, had been given the unique authority to declare his followers lords of the Sabbath in Mark 2. Only Jesus could declare, time and again, that human needs are now of greater value than Sabbath keeping. Only Jesus, as God's only procreated, begotten Son, could free both his fellow Jews and us Gentiles from the unqualified, strict obligations of that old covenant Sabbath law. And only Jesus could say that his followers break the Sabbath and yet are innocent. Let me repeat that. The followers of Jesus broke the Sabbath, yet were innocent. Those are the words of Jesus in Mark 12, verse 5. I'll end with this from the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament. In Mark 2, man and his needs are said to be of greater value than the commandment. The absolute obligation of the commandment is thus challenged. The second saying in Mark 2:28 goes much further. The Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. The Christian community is confessing Jesus, the Son of Man, who, as the Lord Messiah, decides concerning the applying or transcending of the Sabbath. In his lordship, casuistry comes to an end.